Hello, Programming 12. Today we are going to be talking about creating our own functions. So far we know functions like rect, ellipse, line, quad, triangle, all those good things. They have allowed me to make the shape. But what if you wanted to make this into a function? What if I wanted to have a face function? And wherever I said for it to draw the face, whatever coordinates I said and so on, I could reuse that and draw a face over and over again with one function. That's what we're going to try and do today, and I think you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to have a checkpoint at the end that you will be able to try these skills out. But first, I just want to talk a bit about what I'm talking about with making our own functions. So I'm going to go to the source code for this image. This is our face. I got the the rectangle. Here's the hair. I'm using a loop. We'll talk about that another time. We got the left eye. We got the right eye. We got the mouth. And so this is fine, to produce a face, and it's all commented and lovely. But now I'd like to go and make it so that I could call a face function, and it would draw all that stuff whenever I say, face, and it would draw it at a certain position. So the advantages of that, of course, are you can reuse this code. And even within the function, we have some duplication. So for example, the left eye and the right eye are basically the same code, it's just the coordinates are slightly different. So we could also make an eye function so that we could call eye twice instead of copying and pasting this code and changing the numbers a little bit. So that's going to be our goal today. So we're going to start off with a new sketch, and I'm going to kind of go back and forth with the code because I don't want to have to reinvent everything. And I'm going to be creating this face as a function. So I'm just going to start in this video with the first step of just defining the function. So basically, I'd like to be able to say something like this: face 200, 100. And then it would draw the face at the right place. We can talk about like size a little bit later. Let's keep it simple for now and just use X and Y coordinates. So like I'm literally want those those arguments to mean X and Y. So what you can do is you can create your own function. Just like void setup and void draw are function definitions, you can define your own function by typing in void, and then you could give the name face. Not all functions are void, and we will see later on how we can have an int function or a float function or a Boolean function. But today we will focus just on the void functions, which are basically just giving a name to a block of code, and that allows you to reuse it over and over again. So what about these numbers? I want to be able to draw it at a particular location, right? So 200, 100, well, where does that go? So basically, you might notice that our void setup and void draw had these empty parentheses, or just open parenthesis and close parenthesis. And it seemed kind of useless to put those in. It's like, why do you need that? So here's the reason. Sometimes functions require you to give it information. It's very much like the f of x notation, function notation in math. Same kind of idea. That's why they're named functions, by the way, because they're using that mathematical knowledge. So, in f of x, x is your input, and then it is plugged into some kind of mathematical expression, and that produces an output. Void functions don't produce an output, but they do take inputs. So I can make these parentheses, and I can put in variables that will store the input. So I'll say int x, comma, int y. Oops, there we go. So whatever number you put first will be loaded into the x variable, and whatever number you put second will be loaded into the y variable, just because x is first and y is second. And then within this function, so I'll put in my braces that defines the block of code. Within this function, I can refer to x and y, and it'll refer to whatever numbers I'm sent. If I am sent different numbers, okay, say face 500, negative 200, I don't know, then x and y will get these values instead. So the function gets called potentially many times. And whatever the numbers are, it's been abstracted now. We don't know what they are. They're just x and y, and we just draw from there. So this is sort of our function definition and the structure. So I'm going to pause there, let you, get that all typed up and thought about, and then come back in the next video. We're going to learn about push and pop matrix and translate so that we can sort of define our coordinate system within the face itself, and we can kind of ignore what the numbers are, not have to worry about that. And then we'll also start adding in the eyes and the mouth and the hair and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks, everybody.